All right, man. This is Langston Moore, one part of the athletes and artists crew, Preston and Langston, guys who made Just a Chicken Little, and now soon to be published, Used to Was a Rooster. And so we had a cool opportunity to do a NIL video with one of our Lowcountry brothers, our Gamecock brother, current player, Dakeron Joyner. And we're going to go behind the scenes right here and show you why this video was important, why it was cool for us to come out with this whole concept, combining the NIL new deal with this opportunity for us to pay players through our business, our company, and show players who are just like us how they can come full circle and go pro in reading, writing, and speaking in their businesses and come back to support kids. So it's going to be a cool deal for us to break this video down, show us all the cool little nuances. And it's been exciting for us to work with Dakereon and have him as one of our first NIL customers with our Go Pro and Reading campaign. All right, here it is. Starting it off, just breaking this down, we decided it was important for us to have this program, this commercial, everything shot at one of our favorite locations, one of our favorite schools to visit, and that's Casey Elementary, home of the Casey Griffins, right over there in West Columbia. We've had the pleasure of working with them, their school district, for the past, 5-6 years since we published our first book, Just a Chicken, way back in 2015. You see the product placement. And then our second book, Just a Chicken Little, we've had opportunities to work with parents' nights, summer reading, school literacy luncheons, and it's been really cool for us to come in there and work close hand with the students and make sure that we had an ample opportunity to connect with them and show them what real authors look like, because we always think about what football players look like, but it was cool for us to come into the school, shoot the video, use Dakereon, have the kids see us, make a whole bunch of hubbub in the school when it was just around us producing books, writing stories, and that's available to everybody and going pro and reading. One cool thing too, I got to make sure we put this in here, is that's my favorite book in the world when I was a kid growing up in middle school, man. It was Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Gary Paulson just passed away. It was a great, great book, but we wanted to put all these cool little things in the video that were important to us that you might have missed when we were just, having Gamecock stars there and all these famous things in our cool book. So it was really cool for us to put all these cool little nuanced things into the deal. Let's keep going. The reason it was important for us to get Dakereon because he's a Lowcountry guy, but also he's a Dorchester too, where Preston played high school ball at his conference. But I used to go across the bridges in Charleston, and James Island High School would play for Dorchester, Somerville. So for us, it comes full circle. But for somebody like Dakereon, who's really young and going through the process, football is really important to him, and it's important to us too when we were his age. But it was important for us to tie in all of those things together because we played on the same dirt, came up the same roads, ate the same cold chicken after these games, after we won or lost. James Island, we probably lost to these teams more than anybody. But the cool thing was, getting somebody of Dakereon's caliber to come to our school. We knew he was going to be, he was Gatorade Player of the Year and all those great things, but having his culture and his character added to our Gamecock culture was really important for us to highlight. This was really cool.
Dakeron Joyner, please come to the main office. Dakeron Joyner, please come to the main office.
Oh man, you might have missed that right there. Let's rewind that a little bit. We had to give our Gamecock principal a shout out, Principal Andrew Drozdak, who lets us come into his school and produce and help all these literacy programs and work with his kids and produce our videos. But we had to give him a little voiceover work here. So if you could hear it one more time.
Dakeron Joyner, please come to the main office. Dakeron Joyner, please come to the main office.
Now, we were little, man. When the principal called you to the office, man, you knew it was always something bad. So, but we always had to make sure that we wanted to tie in Principal AD, one of our favorite Gamecock principals of the schools that we visited, 250 plus schools that we visited. But it's been real cool, and we had to put him in here. Let's keep the video rolling. One of the things we always talk about is, the hallway of life, the hallway of, all of choices, the highway of life. Plenty of plays to choose from, all these little different sayings and euphemisms and different things. But we wanted to kind of make this a visual representation of Dakereon's kind of career in a nutshell. So here you see him, coming out from being a high school guy. stopping by another classroom, that kind of represents another memory of him kind of looking back to, one of the most important days of his life, his commitment day, when he had to make a choice. But every day in the classroom, we have to make a choice of who we want to be, right? Video right there of him committing, that's just one day out of a long string of hours and days and crying and people not paying attention, and of him putting all that work in. This is one singular day, and it's kind of like graduation day, right? And it's the same way when we're working on our skills of reading, writing, and speaking. And that was important to us to put this into the video to show that, graduation day is just a bookend to what is a long life of things, but it doesn't mean that's the end of it. This was just the end of his high school career. Now here we are again taking the video. Dread's a little bit longer, so it kind of shows Dakereon's a little bit older. He's been in the program. It's in his veins, right? That's who he is. And we love this picture right here. We love this video because, again, that's synonymous with Dakereon and the Gamecocks and the people that we know are successful are, he's staying after and he's working. He's doing all the extra things to get his game right. And so that's the same thing we talk about with these skills of reading, writing, and speaking, using the same things to get your game right all the time. Love it. So now our guy's made a transition from field. Now he's got his graduation deal. So he's walked that hallway of life from, being a high school kid to committing to South Carolina, to having a career at South Carolina, to, again, graduating, doing some of the things that, a lot of us dreamt about doing as kids, and it's all coming together. Not just him being a graduate, he became, like we say, he became a worldlier person. He became a man. He grew up. He, had to interact with other folks. And one of the things that, Dakereon helped spearhead, along with Jay Ehrlich, former Gamecock, was the Matter Was the Minimum campaign, where players all came together, marched in solidarity, coaches, players, the athletic staff, with all the civil unrest and things going on. Again, these kids are citizens and they grew up to be the adults and the leaders that we hope they can be. And so for these football guys to organize and come up with this, not a black guy, not a white guy, they all came together. It was really cool to see everybody representing this. Here we are with some of our great Gamecocks, Marshawn Lloyd, Izzy McQuamu. I think that's J.C. Horn with his big old head right there. Of course, our boy Dakereon Jay, a bunch of guys there who helped spearhead this campaign. Dakereon at the press conference kind of speaking for the team and the why behind this, along with the rest of his teammates. It was really, really important that we put these things in here because he's not just a football guy. He's not just a student. He's a person. He's a person of the world, of, our home state, South Carolina, which, again, is the gateway to the world. One of the biggest things we always wanted to talk about is that these guys grow on and be great men and leaders after the football is over. And this is a great encapsulation of that. And we wanted to put that in our video. Dakereon graduating early, still got a whole bunch of eligibility, but it was important for us to get these pictures of him in the stadium where he's put so much work on the field. But this crossing over is the work between him and the classroom, being eligible, going on to do those things. HRSM graduate, one of my departments who I'm proud to say he's a HRSM hotel restaurant sports management guy who, again, could add to the great roster of HRSM grads and alumni, man. Proud to have him. Oh, man. So remember, we had Principal AD call Dakereon down to the office. And usually, like we said, man, when you get called to the office, it's something bad. But, this is kind of that moment where he's not just a football player. He's not just a student. He's not just a Gamecock. He's not just a chicken. He's a Gamecock. He's a Gamecock for life. So one Gamecock who's a professional, giving it to the one who's stepping into the next realm, whatever that may be. It was important for us to make that connection because, again, those skills of reading, writing, and speaking, you can go be a principal, you can go do fashion, you can go play football, you do whatever you want with those skills. And that's the cool thing. That's why we had the shot in it. Man, Kevin Roche spot. Oh, man, Kevin Roche spot right there. And again, Kev busted him out with the tight T-shirt on. You can get all his gear, all his stuff over there at Kev Draws, our illustrious illustrator who's done all of our stuff. Just a Chicken. Just Chicken Little. Our new book, Used to Was a Rooster, and we had to make sure Kev gets a cameo because a lot of people don't think Kev is real. Like he's like some Yeti or something like that. But yo, this is Kev. Shout out Coach LaPrade, Lowcountry Legend. He was a Somerville guy, Fort Dorchester guy, more importantly. But yeah, Coach LaPrade, we've had the privilege of helping him, working with him, coming down to his school to work with his athletes. But of course, Dakereon and those guys are great representations of what that program puts out, man. So we had to put these things in there. Love to get those tear moments in there because, again, this is important. This is, like we said, this picture is just a cumulative a day of all the hard work that he's put in. And it's the same thing with our program of reading, writing, and speaking. After our guys graduate, man, it's really important for us to kind of show, of course, our two pretty faces. That's me, Lank over here. PT still, giving him a hard time about that time. Fort Dorchester, beat up on Somerville, all those cool things. But our whole deal is we came up with a philosophy called Nextplay, and we learned this through football, through the idea of good play, bad play, next play. It's kind of a Zen philosophy. It's kind of a psychological kind of tool or hack. But the whole point is, this idea of next play shows you what's available. But if we're focused on too much the past or worry too much about the future, we won't get there. We won't focus on it. So our whole deal was to show Dakereon after graduating, kind of symbolizing all of this, that this is what's possible for you next play. Not the NFL, not going into pro wrestling or being a speaker. All of those things are cool. But our whole deal is talking about going pro and the skills of reading, writing, and speaking, that you can go out there and create, have the life you want to do, create the life you want to live, something even better than playing in the NFL. And trust me, Preston and I have done that. And we've done that through this idea of books. So that's why it was kind of important for us to be sitting there at the end of this deal, kind of showing him physically, tangibly, what's the example. And he's not just a football player. He's not just a guy from Charles. He's not just a dude. All of those things. He's more than that. He's a Gamecock. And that's the reason we named our first book More Than Just a Chicken. Just a Chicken. That's our mantra. We all go pro in books. Everybody thinks they're going to go pro in sports or singing, and those things may be true. But eventually, talents fade. Skills never fade. And the skills of reading, writing, and speaking are going to be the things that teach you to go pro, give you an opportunity to create the life you want to. And so that's been our whole mission. That's one of the main reasons we hired Dakereon through the NIL opportunities. We'll be hiring more players, more athletes, and just getting out here and showing kids how to go pro in books and do what we did. That is, not play football, but go pro in reading, writing, and speaking. Because you can always outread your situation, outwrite your situation, and outspeak your situation.